When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
Tucker, you are not the father. This has to be wrong!
After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
If it was okay to have anal sex.
No apologies.
You were talking about things that probably you shouldn't talk about.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I finally had my own show!
At one point, your ancestors owned slaves.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
Cut your penis off, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with your host, Alex Stein, starts right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to After Hours with Alex Stein right here on Real America's Voice. And tonight we got a great episode. But before we get into it, I want to introduce my co-host, my number one guest, my very good friend. You know her as a spina bifida baddie. She's fresh off her appearance at the latest Kevin Hart roast for Netflix. We welcome on the one, the only, Lila Heart. Lila, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. So happy to be back on After Hours.
It is awesome to have you back, and we're going to get into it a little bit later in the episode. We want to talk about your experience out in California, but you've been on the road. Can you tell us, when are you going back on the road? What's your schedule like right now?
I actually leave on the 20th, heading out to Las Vegas with the Micro Maidens for our next 12-city tour. So check us out, micromaidens.com.
Everybody needs to go check out the Micro Maidens. They throw it down. That is no joke. But we're going to get into that in the D block. I want to talk about what's going on. We got a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about Jeremy from the Quartering, all of that drama. But I'd also like to talk about conspiracies. I know, Lila, you're an expert when it comes to conspiracies. You have a great documentary all about COVID-19. And I guess tell the audience your experience when it came to putting that documentary exposing Dr. Fauci.
Well, I will say this. My experience, I'm glad that me and my husband put it together just because it's so important for people to get the truth out. And also, a lot of people were very afraid to speak out against what was happening with COVID-19. So to have the documentary out and it's available on Twitter and YouTube, I think it's great because it made other people brave enough to speak out.
And what were some of the smoking guns that you talked about in the documentary?
A lot of the stuff that's from the vaccine, obviously, as we know.
It's safe and effective. It's
yes,
so good.
It is. It's so safe, so effective.
But what was the smoking gun?
Well, Dr. Fauci cannot be trusted, so just...
He's not. That. Even the people in the 80s, all the AIDS patients were mad because he was giving them, drugs that weren't helping them or actually making them more sick and then costing them an arm and a leg. So Dr. Fauci is the longest tenured government employee, and he should have been fired a long time ago. And that's one of my biggest complaints is the fact that we're not actually holding him accountable for all of the terrible things that he did during the pandemic. But the reason why I'm bringing up the pandemic is because a lot of people have what is called cognitive dissonance. Most people know that the government is not obligated to tell us the truth. Most people know that the government has classified levels of information that the normal American citizen will never be privy to. But at the same exact time, knowing that the government lies to us, it's part of their job to lie to us, they still will trust the government whenever the government gives us the official story on something. And that, to me, is frustrating because if you know the government lies, then why do you ever believe them? To me, I've kind of taught not to trust a liar. And what's going on right now with the hantavirus drama, to me, it seems like they want another pandemic. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. But we cannot let them have that. And I'm not going to fall for the propaganda of what they're pushing.
No, but Lila, this is one thing that I was surprised about with the pandemic is that people were sad when it was over. So I think people want the pandemic. Like people, they don't want to die of a virus. I think most people don't want to die of but they want everybody else to get shut down. They want to be able to have an excuse to work remote. And so I actually saw people acting like they didn't like the hantavirus, but were secretly on Amazon.com buying a mask and buying, a PPP, what is it, PPE. So I feel like people kind of want another pandemic.
Maybe they want to learn to dance on TikTok and become the next TikTok influencer.
Those are the best memes, how they're showing nurses getting ready for their hantavirus dance. I mean, dude, that's where we were when we were doing the pandemic. Nurses were going viral for making TikTok dances while people like my mother were dying in hospital rooms next to them. So it's ridiculous. But the topic that I want to talk about, in the first segment of our show is a conspiracy that is not a conspiracy anymore. It was actually Bill Clinton that declassified all this information, but it was called the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment. Now, Lila, I don't know, how familiar are you with the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment?
Well, pretty familiar, just because of the fact that I feel like what they did with the Tuskegee experiment is basically what they try to do with the COVID vaccine as well. So it's just another round of that.
It's the exact same thing. They were using us as lab rats, as a guinea pig, to see, how this vaccine would affect us. And that's why I believe a lot of people that got the vaccine are totally fine, because they either got some sort of saline or they got one that didn't have some sort of horrible chemical in it, because that's why they have different lot numbers, and they would put different chemicals in different cities to see how that reacted, to see if it worked, if it actually stopped the virus, if people got sick, if more side effects happened because of that chemical that was in it. So I believe that not everybody took the same vaccine.
Absolutely. That 100%.
So the reason why I want to bring up the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment, it was done from 1932 to 1972 through the United States Public Health Service, and they recruited hundreds of black ex-poor sharecroppers and infected them with syphilis. And one of the most egregious things about this is that this experiment started in 1932, and in the early 40s they actually found a cure to syphilis, but instead of giving these sharecroppers the cure to syphilis to see if it would cure them, they acted like there wasn't a cure. And the whole entire time, the people that were part of this experiment, the reason that they were motivated to join it is because they thought that they were getting free health care. So they went in there with the best intentions. Oh, the government's going to give me free health care. They didn't realize that they were being used as a lab rat in a horrible science experiment. And I think that is a almost one-to-one equivalent of what happened during the pandemic, is people didn't realize is that we were the science experiment. They were testing whether or not we would take it socially, how would we respond to it, the medical aspects of it. It's a multifaceted experiment. It's not just whether or not the vaccine works. There's much more to it than that. And the reason I want to bring up the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment is that through the hantavirus, a lot of people are like, I'm not going to play this game. I'm not doing this, song and dance again. But I just want to preface that the government has been doing this for a long time. They've been infecting people with viruses since 1932. And if you think that they're going to stop in 2026, well, then I got a bridge to sell you. So, Lila, what do you think about the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment? Do you think it's relatable to what's going on today?
Oh, absolutely. And again, the sad thing is people were trusting the government, like you said, because they thought that they were helping them. And just like the COVID vaccine, people we're actually asking for it because they were believing the government. And if you spoke out against it or said anything about it, your channels would get banned and you were silenced. So even though there were people like you and me speaking out against it, that's part of why I had to move to Texas. Let me just say that. You
had to get away from the lunacy in California. And actually, I want to get through some of the thoughts. Let's play thought number one to give you guys some backstory on what the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment was, if you're not familiar.
For participation in the study, the men were promised free medical care, but were deceived by the U.S. Public Health Service, who disguised placebos, ineffective methods, and bogus diagnostic procedures as effective treatment options. The men who had syphilis were never informed about their diagnosis, despite the risk of infecting others, and they were never informed that the disease could lead to blindness, deafness, mental illness, heart disease, bone deterioration, central nervous system failure, and death. Instead, the men were told they were being treated for bad blood, which was a Southern colloquialism used to describe anemia and fatigue. After the
So they thought they were being treated for bad blood, which is a new illness that I've never even heard of. And a lot of people lost their lives because of advanced syphilis. Let's play thought number two.
The panel concluded in their final report that the previous research on African Americans with syphilis was ethically unjustified. At the study's conclusion, only 74 of the original 600 men were still alive. 40 of their wives had been infected, and 19 of their children were born with congenital syphilis.
So the government doesn't care if you die at the hands of one of their social experiments. But to me, the reason why I'm bringing this up, you're like, Alex, why are you talking about an experiment that started in 1932 and ended in the 70s? Because I think it is incredibly pertinent to what is happening today. And people are so easily brainwashed, and people have the memory of an elephant, or I guess a memory of an elephant.
A goldfish.
A goldfish, that's it. You know better than me. Because this is a person that was a direct descendant of one of the victims of the Tuskegee Syphilis experiment, saying that everybody should get vaccinated for COVID. That's SOT number 4.
If you're using the syphilis study as your rationale for not getting the vaccine, to just...
So basically that woman said, do not use the Tuskegee Syphilis experiment to sway you against getting vaccinated for COVID-19, which is the exact opposite of what it should do. It should scare you and not trust the government. If they gave a bunch of black poor people, sharecroppers that needed free health care, that were struggling, and instead of actually giving them free health care, they told them that they had bad blood while simultaneously infecting them with a deadly advanced version of syphilis, then the government doesn't care about you, and nothing changed from 1932 to 2026. The government still doesn't care about you. As a matter of fact, I would argue that the government cares less about you today than they did in the 30s and 40s and 50s. So Lila, seeing this, do you get as triggered, or are you more laid back about it? Because I'm pissed.
Well, Alex, I can understand how angry you are, of course. My thing is, did she get paid to say that?
I'm sure.
Yeah, did she get paid?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people at this point are choosing to be ignorant, and it's really sad. I feel like I really did my part in 2020, 2021, 2022 to try to save the people that I could. And anybody who's still believing in wearing masks, at this point, I just think you're just choosing to be stupid. But, you know, that's just me.
Yeah, they just like wearing the mask because they like to cover their faces. They feel more, confident hiding behind a mask, which is ridiculous because everybody knows if a pair of Levi's can't stop a fart, then a mask probably can't stop a deadly virus. All right, coming up after the break, we're going to get into the quartering drama, and we're going to talk about why do black celebrities always feel like they have to wear a dress in order to make it in Hollywood? Is that something that they're choosing to do, or is it the people in power making them do it? We're going to get into it right after the break.
I'm at Utah Valley University. There was a gunshot.
The speaker, he's a debater, famous debater.
People were crying, people were screaming. It was a nightmare.
The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
Take a look at what happened.
Gunshot at the Trump rally.
The police are on the way.
So you better get over here quick. And there's a guy shooting.
Okay.
He's been shooting up the place.
They just tried to kill President Trump.
Multiple shots were fired at Trump National Golf Course.
The armed suspect camped outside the golf course for nearly 12 hours.
Shots were fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
This is the third attempt on President Trump's life in just 2 years.
Everyone ducked, got on the floor. People were underneath tables. No one knew what was going on. And the president was rushed off stage. The vice president was rushed off stage.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Mama Love in northern Minnesota. You know, a collective voice is much louder than a single voice. Thanks, Rav, for giving us a place to chat and connect. See y'all in chat.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on. I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
Welcome back to After Hours with Alex Stein, right here on Real America's Voice. And we're sitting down with my co-host, Lila Heart. Lila, you know what we got to talk about in this segment? More conspiracies today. I'm very conspiracy-minded. Now, have you heard the conspiracy, Lila, that in order to make it in Hollywood, a guy has to put on a dress or he has to do some sort of gay act, or you have to like drink the blood of a baby? Now, I don't know if that's true, but probably. So you know that conspiracy, right?
Yes. I do.
Do you believe it's true?
I kind of do.
Yeah, because it's a humiliation ritual. They want to see how far you'll go and how willing you are to play ball with their crazy ideas, to see if you are successful, if they do decide to put you over and make you a pop star or make you a Hollywood A-list actor, they want to make sure that they can control you and manipulate you. And that's oftentimes why they even have these honeypot scams where they put a guy in a vulnerable situation so that they can gain leverage on him later on. And I think Hollywood is just the breeding ground for that type of stuff. But there's a lot of people in the black community that feel like in order to make it, you have to pretend to be gay or you have to do this kind of humiliation ritual. And I want to play a few clips. Now, this is actually my friend Big Homie CC talking about Tupac Shakur. And the reason why I bring up Tupac Shakur is that Tupac was actually went to theater school, was, an artist. If you watch some of Tupac's earliest clips, he's almost like a little effeminate, I might say. He's just, artsy-fartsy, kind of like this. And then as soon as he starts to get some, popularity, they got to turn him into thug life. He's got to be a gangster. He got to be West Coast, because a lot of that was manufactured. And even the rift between Biggie and Tupac, a lot of that was manufactured. They didn't really hate each other that much. And I want to play this clip of Big Homie CC breaking down Puff Daddy's involvement, because I would argue that Puff Daddy benefited the most from Biggie Smalls getting killed. So I wouldn't be surprised if the same guy that's doing the free cost with the baby oil had something to do with Biggie's death. But let's hear Big Homie CC and his opinion about it.
So just on Diddy and Tupac and Suge Knight, obviously, do you personally believe he was pretty directly involved?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
No doubt about it.
And do you think the whole hip-hop world knows that?
Yes. Yeah, in the hip-hop world, it's common knowledge. Absolutely.
What does that tell you about the kind of man Diddy is then?
You ever notice that you always see this gentleman in a towel, shirtless, in his underpants all the time? Why you always half naked in the middle of the day? And, there's a video of him saying that he's a savage. And he's screaming this, and he's saying that whatever he wants, he's gonna get. And he said it by any means, and this shows that.
Do you think he's capable and, in fact, has caused people to be killed?
Yes.
Multiple times?
Now, the reason why that is so egregious is that Puff Daddy was Biggie Smalls' main producer. He was his right-hand man, his best friend in all the music videos, at least. And yet, it was Puff Daddy that benefited the most from Biggie Smalls dying. So I guess the picture that I'm trying to paint is that if somebody thinks that they can benefit from your death, they will literally kill you if it'll get them 1 inch further in life. And when it comes to Puff Daddy and all the allegations against him on the freak-offs and all that stuff, I think that is child's play, and it's not half as bad as some of the stuff that Puff Daddy's done. Because have you heard the rumor that, when Jamie Foxx was in the hospital for so long? Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought it was like the COVID vaccine or something like that. Allegedly, Jamie Foxx thinks that he was drugged by Puff Daddy.
I could see that.
I could see that too. And this is Big Homie CC talking about it. Let's play this clip. It's pretty crazy.
I think that you have taken that to be a not too oblique reference to the fact that he's suggesting he may too have been poisoned.
Jamie Foxx said out of his mouth that his partner handed him an Advil, and after he took that Advil, he woke up 22 days later. That's what he said out of his mouth. I feel like us as a species, I feel like human skepticism has become a virus, because if we don't trust the words of our peers, where are we as a species? You know, eyewitness testimony and circumstantial evidence is enough to get a person a life sentence in any court on the earth. Why is it that when people are whistleblowing and putting their life and livelihood on the line, they receive so much scrutiny? I don't think that's by chance.
Now, that might sound like a conspiracy. Oh, he took an aspirin or took some pill and then he woke up 22 later, and speaking in regards to Jamie Foxx. But there's also clips of Suge Knight talking about injecting somebody with a fast-acting HIV virus and causing them to die. And Eazy-E, a famous rapper that was beefing with Suge Knight, died under those mysterious circumstances. So what do you think all this is? Do you think Puff Daddy is this evil guy that's beating up Cassidy, his wife, in hotel rooms? So that's scummy. If you're going to hit a woman, you're just a scumbag. You deserve to go to jail, period. But do you think Puff Daddy is as evil as people like Big Homie CC say he is?
Absolutely. I think he's more evil. And I think there's other people who are evil that are involved with him, but they just haven't been exposed yet publicly. But people know. I know. Well, is it as evil? Because one thing in that court case I noticed, which they tried to get, and I do think he was found guilty of buying a prostitute and sex trafficking him because you took him over state lines, and that was a federal offense. And, you know, obviously he's guilty of those crimes. But there was nothing in there that said that he was doing anything with children. And so I still think, as long as, even if he's doing that horrible stuff, sex trafficking adults, bad, horrible, it's still not as bad as trafficking children. Well, true, but still, Alex, like I feel like he's responsible for multiple people's deaths in Hollywood. Yes, he is. Including his ex-wife, right? Well, there's just a lot of mysterious circumstances. He's kind of like the Black Hillary Clinton. Seems like there's a laundry list of names that have died under mysterious circumstances connected with Puff Daddy, and you could say, oh, that's just part of the rap game. You know, people are going to get shot. But when it comes to Puff Daddy, he's like the architect of that whole entire industry when it comes to giving out deals, and he's a heavy hitter. He's a power player. Well, he's calling shots. Also, what about the Justin Bieber spending the night at his house when he was a minor? And Justin Bieber seems like somebody that was a victim of some sort of sexual trauma. I don't know that, but I feel like he was definitely exploited when he was young. Ellen had him on. Remember when Ellen had him on? And Ellen loves to exploit young children. So I wouldn't be so quick to say that P. Diddy did not do anything with children. I mean, maybe it hasn't been, he hasn't been public, like it's not in the court cases, but I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't either. So I'm just saying Puff Daddy probably would be the first person to get on the Lolita Express and go to Epstein Island. I'm just saying, from what we saw in that court case, at least, as much as I don't like Puff Daddy, at least it wasn't like, oh, he was trafficking 11-year-olds on the island. It looks like he was trafficking adults. Not that it makes it that much better, but it does seem a little less bad than Jeffrey Epstein. But that's what they do in Hollywood, Lila. And we're going to get into it in a D block, but you were just at a very influential Hollywood party. And you know how these people act. It's like life ruination. They want to have leverage on them so that they can, control them. And I think Puff Daddy was trying to control a lot of people, and that's why he got all this information and backdoor deals and allegedly giving Jamie Foxx pills, because he wants to be the top dog. He doesn't want to compete with these people that might have more motion or more clout. And it's a way to stay on top by basically going after people, surreptitiously. And I think you're 100% right there. I think there was some ulterior motives, and I think he's a evil person who did some evil things, and we've only reached like the tip of the iceberg of what happened. No, you're exactly right. And one of the craziest things that people don't talk about is that I have a family friend. He has horrible heart disease and he needs a heart transplant. And he's a wealthy guy, very successful businessman, but he's having a really hard time finding a heart donor.
But a lot of people don't know, if you're a super rich guy in China, they actually do, from like the Uyghur slaves that they have there, they'll go and get one of those slaves and cut out their kidneys or cut out their liver or whatever they need, and they'll give it to one of these rich billionaires that wants to buy it. And now, think about that. That's the world we live in, where organ harvesting is real. I know we'd like to think that it's not, but it is something that happens specifically in China. But now this is Big Homie CC talking about, don't do any medical procedures in Mexico because you could become a victim of organ harvesting. Let's play the clip. Saw it, 7.
All right, I'll say this. So we would go to Mexico for certain things, on human trafficking and stuff. And certain times they will be monitoring, like some ladies, they'll call and say, oh, they detoxing me, they want me drink, they want me smoke. That means you finna get your organs took out your body. So like, if you look at that Hoover indictment that took place, in that paperwork, they were saying they was taking certain females to the border to sell their organs. And once they start detoxing you, that's what that's for. And, you know, if you go down to Mexico and you got your girlfriend, they'll push up and offer you $50,000 for your girl. Like black girls down there.
And I say this every episode, reality is stranger than fiction. So do you think if people knew that there's organ harvesting going on, Puff Daddies giving people Jamie Foxx drugs, trying to kill them, they're doing Tuskegee syphilis experiments on people, I think the cognitive dissonance would be much less in the world.
I don't know, Alex. I think it's some of the stuff people know about and they still choose to not believe it. I mean, you can do your own research and look into this, but some people really just don't want to believe that the government would do that to you. They don't want to believe that these celebrities could be doing that. They're choosing to put their head in the sand, and they want to live like that.
It's willful ignorance, but there is a saying that ignorance is bliss, and sometimes I can empathize with that. It's like in The Matrix when the guy wants to go back in and plug into the Matrix so he can taste his steak. Sometimes I'm a little empathetic that I'm not ignorant to all the bad things that are happening in the world, that I know about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, that I know about Operation Mockingbird, which we're going to get into in the next segment, about how the CIA has representatives in every single form of media, from radio, television, film, podcast, every single thing when it comes to media. There is the CIA's thumbprint, fingerprints, and stink all over it. And we're going to get into that coming up right after these commercials.
When you look at your grocery bill, is it so high it knocks you off your feet? It's time.
Fatherhood is under attack in America. 1 in 4 kids is growing up without a father. We've replaced fathers with bureaucrats, and the results are a disaster for our kids and our country. I'm John Popola, host of Dad Saves America and CEO of Emergent Order Foundation. I like to say Emergent Order Foundation is what it would look like if Warner Brothers and PBS had a baby that actually loved America. We're a studio on a mission to defend the family and to call men back to the responsibility, strength, and sacrifice that fatherhood demands. The family is the last line of defense against a radical agenda that wants to rewrite everything from truth and tradition to gender and God. We're raising a new generation of men, not victims, not activists, but fathers and protectors. Join the mission, support the movement. Visit dsa-rav.com today to take a stand for fatherhood and the American family.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were
prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
I'm Lou, Mega Pilot from Rav's Gator Chat here in beautiful Trump County, Florida. The best place for real news is Real America's Voice.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
America's Voice.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on Real America's Voice. You're watching After Hours with Alex Stein. I got my very good friend Lila Heart with me in studio. Lila, now I got to ask you, are you familiar with Operation Mockingbird, a declassified operation that the government was running where they had a representative in every single form of media, and this came out in the 60s, and I think it was exposed. It was happening in the 60s, got exposed in 1978. What is your opinion on it, and do you think Operation Mockingbird is still in full effect?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're still doing it. I think that they do use TV and movies and media to kind of tell people what they're doing so they can get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a revelation of the method. But my good friend Mark Dice, if anybody is watching this that doesn't know who Mark Dice is, this is a call to action. Go on YouTube. Mark Dice is one of the OG YouTubers, especially in the political movement. He's been exposing a lot of government conspiracies for forever, but he's not just a conspiracy theorist. He talks about culture. He does these great social experiments where he asks people if they'd rather have an ounce of silver or a Hershey's chocolate bar. And 9 out of 10 times, they always pick the chocolate bar because people are just dumb. And Mark goes viral for these clips, but he breaks down Operation Mockingbird so concisely and succinctly. That's a hard word to say, but he does such a great job of it. And he was one of the first guys. He's written multiple books about Operation Mockingbird, but I want you to hear from Mark Dice so you guys understand what we're talking about.
Operation Mockingbird was discovered during a 1975 congressional hearing that showed that the CIA was spending $1 billion a year in 2016 dollars, adjusted for inflation, in under-the-table bribes to all major American news outlets, editors, and reporters in exchange for their covert cooperation to act as government mouthpieces and gatekeepers. The director of Operation Mockingbird.
Well, you don't have to just take Mark's word for it. Now I want to play SOT number 9. This is actually the then CIA director, William Colby, directly confronting the agency's relationships with people in the media.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the National News Services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session. Senator, do you...
Yeah, he would prefer to say that off camera and off mic, but I mean, we know that this is declassified. We know that this is a real thing. And this is a clip of a former CIA agent, John Stockwell, explaining how the CIA works hand in hand with journalists in order to spin a narrative and get out the information that should be out and hide the information that they want hidden. Let's play it.
Nicaragua today from Honduras. Another thing is to disseminate propaganda to influence people's minds. And this is a major function of the CIA. And unfortunately, of course, it overlaps into the gathering of information. You have contact with a journalist, you will give him true stories, you'll get information from him, you'll also give him false stories.
Did you buy his confidence with true stories?
You buy his confidence and set him up. We've seen this happen recently with Jack Anderson, for example, who has his intelligence sources, and he has also admitted that he's been set up by them. Every fifth story just simply being false. You also work on their human vulnerabilities to recruit them in a classic sense, to make them your agent so that you can control what they do, so you don't have to set them up sort of, by putting one over on them. So you can say, here, plant this one next Tuesday.
Can you do?
So that's a former CIA agent basically admitting that the CIA influences the media and journalists by giving them real stories and getting this, relationship built up, and then they'll give them fake stories so that they'll go spread those fake stories so that they can manipulate, the masses. And now some people are watching this like, Alex, why are we talking about this? Well, the CIA just recently admitted when we had a pilot that fell or his plane crashed and we couldn't find him during the Iran war, the CIA got to the podium at the Department of War and said, well, luckily the CIA ran such a great operation doing a deception campaign, and we were able to distract the population by giving them false information, thinking that the downed pilot was in a different area than he really was in. So they were using their deception campaign to help find this soldier. But the reason why I think that is so shocking is because now they use a deception campaign on us constantly to hide, whatever information they want in America. So if they're going to run a deception campaign in Iran, the likelihood of them running one right now in America is 1,000%. So what do you think about the CIA? Do you trust them, Lila?
Absolutely not. And they are 100%. Yeah, like you said, 1,000% still doing it right now and forever. And, I will even say, Alex, too, I feel like COVID was an IQ test. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people in America who just... They don't care. Nope. They don't care that they're being lied to.
They like the lie better. They'd rather just believe the lie than actually know the truth, because the truth hurts. But this is what we try to talk about on this program, is the truth. And I know I support Donald Trump. I didn't really necessarily love this war, but what's happening now is, whether you support the war or not, the CIA, they love this war. They love the idea of going to a foreign country and destabilizing it and putting somebody that they choose in power. So that's why I'm frustrated. I don't mind that Donald Trump is trying to protect us from nuclear warheads. I appreciate that. I'm happy that he did that. But starting a war with Iran when the last 10 presidents were not willing to do it because they knew that it could be a quagmire very easily, I'm frustrated because I think people within the intelligence community and the deep state, specifically our CIA and Israel's Mossad, gave Donald Trump false information to start this war. So I think our intelligence agencies are directly responsible for the conflict that we're currently in.
Yeah, that's true. It's really sad that we're even in this war. I think what people really want is for gas prices to just go down. Yeah. That's what they want, okay?
Groceries. They want to go to the grocery store and not have to spend $100 for a carton of eggs and a steak. Like, we have an affordability crisis. We have so many domestic issues here in America that we're not going and fixing, but instead we're starting wars with foreign countries that don't even have the capability to bomb us. Like Iran, even if they had a nuclear weapon, they don't even have the capability to make it go from Iran to America. So it's like, why are we doing this if they can't even attack us during a war? It just seems like we're preemptively trying to stop them, and by dropping more bombs, I don't think that causes less violence. I think it causes more violence.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what they say. They say, we have to do this preemptively because we're going to stop future violence by bombing people. And to me, it sounds hypocritical.
We have enough problems here in America that we could be using these resources for. So it really doesn't make sense to even be going over there and doing any of that. We have a lot of things that we need to fix here.
And I'll be honest, I'll give Donald Trump his credit if he is doing, 5D chess, and now all of the European allies and all of the Asian countries are going to be more reliant on American energy, then that is beneficial overall to the country. But you could have done this, if I'm just being honest, we could have done this after the midterms, President Trump. And I don't think the midterms are going to be as bad as some people are speculating, but it's also not going to be as good. I don't think anybody on either side is going to be too happy. Because let's say the Senate, if the Democrats have one more extra seat, or in Congress, a few seats switch, the left will be happy that they got a little win, but it's not going to be the huge monumental change that everybody's expecting.
Yeah. I don't think we should be over there. Like I said, I think what's really affecting the average American right now is the fact that inflation is making everything go up, and I think a lot of people they don't care about that. They don't want to be over there. They want to be focused on what's happening here. So.
Well, I think that we're all under propaganda right now. And like I said, I support and love Donald Trump. I'm just anti-war, and I'm a little nervous that this thing is continuing to go on, because we're not going to be able to feel the effects until about, this is what they speculate, when it comes to the energy sector, they had stockpiles of energy for up to 6 months. We're not going to really start to feel the drama of the situation, even though in Australia they're feeling it, and a lot of Asian countries are feeling it. But here in America, since we're basically energy independent, we're not going to feel the same pain as our allies in Europe and everybody else is going to feel. But for them, it's going to be exponentially worse in 6 months, when they're really struggling for energy and they don't have the stockpile that we did have previously. So I want to actually play this. This is SOT number 11, talking about how the CIA runs propaganda campaigns. And I'm asking you, the viewer at home, do you support everything that's going on, or are you the victim of a propaganda campaign to influence your feelings on this conflict? I want you to watch this and then tell me on Twitter, tweet at me, and let me know if you feel like you are making the right opinion or if you're a victim of propaganda.
I had propagandists all over the world, principally in London, Kinshasa, and Zambia. We would take stories which we would write and put them in the Zambia Times, and then pull them out and send them to a journalist on our payroll in Europe. But his cover story, you see, would be that he had gotten them from his stringer in Lusaka, who had gotten them from the Zambia Times. We had the complicity of the government of Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda, if you will, to put these false stories into his newspapers. But after that point, the journalists, Reuters and AFP, the management was not witting of it. Now, our contact man in Europe was. And we pumped just dozens of stories about Cuban atrocities, Cuban rapists.
Now, this is what the CIA was doing in the 70s. So if you think the CIA has stopped, they have not. They've only accelerated the propaganda. So please, guys, if you're watching this, don't fall for the propaganda. We support the troops. We support every man and woman in uniform. But let's just be based in reality and do not fall for the CIA's brainwashing program that we're all under. All right, guys, coming up after this commercial break, Lila's going to tell us all about her time at the Kevin Hart roast. It was a Netflix hit, as well as Jeremy from the Quarterings getting canceled. And we're friends with some of the people that are getting canceled in that. So if you guys want the hot gossip on Jeremy and the Kevin Hart roast, that's coming up right after this.
Fatherhood is under attack in America. 1 in 4 kids is growing up without a father. We've replaced fathers with bureaucrats, and the results are a disaster for our kids and our country. I'm John Popola, host of Dad Saves America and CEO of Emergent Order Foundation. I like to say Emergent Order Foundation is what it would look like if Warner Brothers and PBS had a baby that actually loved America. We're a studio on a mission to defend the family and to call men back to the responsibility, strength, and sacrifice that fatherhood demands. The family is the last line of defense against a radical agenda that wants to rewrite everything from truth and tradition to gender and God. We're raising a new generation of men, not victims, not activists, but fathers and protectors. Join the mission, support the movement. Visit dsa-rav.com today to take a stand for fatherhood and the American family.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
I'm Lou, Mega Pilot from Rav's Getter Chat here in beautiful Trump County, Florida. The best place for real news is Real America's Voice.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Thank you guys so much for staying up late. You're watching After Hours with Alex Stein right here on Real America's Voice. And you know what my secret is to stay up this late and do this show? It's a 12-ounce energy drink called Soldier Fuel. It's got 0 sugar, only 5 calories, and it gives me the stamina to host this show all night long. So this is my secret weapon. If you guys want this weapon as well, go to buysoldierfuel.com or go to Amazon and order today. And if you guys enjoy it, go to soldierfuel.com/challenge, upload yourself chugging some of this and, you know, giving us a promo or a shout out. We'll play it on the show. And if we like it and if it does make it to the show, we'll send you a free case of Soldier Fuel, and part of our proceeds go to help out our military veterans. So this is a good company doing good for the world, and it'll give you the energy that you need to succeed. So Lila, you were back from Los Angeles, California, the city of angels, after your appearance at the Kevin Hart roast. So before I play this clip, you were with my favorite football player of all time, the playmaker Michael Irvin, a Hall of Fame player, played for the Dallas Cowboys for over 10 years. What were you doing at the roast? Can you tell us?
I was there to watch the roast, and I was on the red carpet, so I got to see everybody that was part of the roast. It was a great time. It was actually my first time watching a full roast, so I enjoyed it, and I was happy to be there.
And it was a huge spectacle on Netflix. There's a TV roast, tons of celebrities, and I just want to play this little snippet. This is you with my favorite football player, the playmaker, and Howard Stern, a guy I used to love. His best friend, John Stamos, is in the clip too, so let's play it.
This emotion party, you cannot get in. Don Julio won't drink gin. Bad you love me, chain like a slushie, wrist like an ice pack, born really like that.
Brad Williams, eat your heart out. Well, that was John Stamos at the end. Now, Lila, you're probably not familiar with this. You said that you didn't know who Michael Irvin was before you met him?
No, but I just thought he was a really nice guy. He was super friendly, and he came over to us and wanted to take a picture of me with all my friends, all my little friends. Funny, he made the joke that he met Kevin Hart's family, which,
because
because me and Kevin Hart are the same size.
Because you guys are all little, and Kevin Hart is a little person as well. Now, I wanted to talk about Michael Irvin, though, for a second. So you don't even know his background. You don't know what he's famous for?
No, I didn't.
When the Cowboys were at the height of their success, when they were winning Super Bowls, Michael Irvin was arrested. He was targeted with 2 strippers in a hotel room in Irving with cocaine. And he went to court, and they couldn't prove that it was his cocaine. He actually got not guilty, but it was a huge deal because he got suspended, for like 5 or 6 games. But he got caught with cocaine, and he was famous for doing lines of cocaine. They had a thing called the White House, where all the players paid. They pitched in, and they bought this house next to Valley Ranch, where they would stay up all night doing cocaine. And if you guys don't believe me, there's a Netflix documentary called America's Team that's all about it, where Michael Irvin openly admits to being a cokehead. So with all that being said, love Michael Irvin, love the playmaker. He's a very friendly guy. He's a party animal. So did you get that vibe
I just
from him?
thought this guy is super nice, and he had great energy when he came over.
He's got a lot of energy. He's known for having a lot of energy. He's famous for his energy
He was
levels.
just super friendly and very warm, so I got good vibes from him. So
And I'm friends with his son, Tut Tarantino, who's a rapper. So love Michael Irvin. He had a little bit of a checkered past, but he's a true awesome guy. He's a Dallas Cowboy Hall of Famer in the Ring of Honor. So I love Michael Irvin. No Diddy, no homo. Okay.
But I have to tell you that the John Stamos thing was funny because me and the girls were like, should we even say hi to him? Because there's a big rumor that's been around for many years that John Stamos is afraid of little people.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, because Brad Williams, who's also a stand-up comedian like myself, on his first special, Fun Size, he made a joke and talked about how John Stamos was afraid of little people. So throughout the whole little people community, we all thought John Stamos was afraid of us. So when he came over and said hi to us, the first thing we said is it true? Do you not like little people? And he was like, no, absolutely not. And he was like, in fact, I'm going to make a video right now. I'm going to send this to my buddy Brad Williams. And he made the video to let Brad
That's why he said Brad Williams.
Yeah, eat your heart out. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do people have a little people phobia? Is that a fake thing? Because I remember
No,
I met a girl.
I think it's a real thing. I think some people are afraid, and you know.
That's weird. Who cares?
It is weird. It is
That
very
is-
strange.
that is
but I am
strange.
so happy that we got to clear the rumor. And John Stamos is a lovely person, and he does not have a fear of little people. So we welcome him with open arms, and he is. Now we know that he does love us.
He is not a little person xenophobe. That's good. Now, we got to talk about this drama. Our good friend Chrissy Mayer's caught up into it, the quartering. Now, if you guys are not familiar, Jeremy Hambley, it's a hard name to say, is a well-known YouTuber that goes by the name of The Quartering, and he created a subversive campaign to get the Kino Casino, two podcasters that are famous for basically making fun of Jeremy. He got their channel deplatformed and taken off of YouTube. Then he bragged about this, and now there has been a hate mob going after Jeremy because nobody likes somebody that's going to try to get somebody's channel deleted. So I want to play SOT number 12. This is Andy Worski talking about how Jeremy took down their YouTube channel.
Hey everyone, as you all probably seen, the Kino Casino clip channel was flagged down by the Quartering. He's actually bragging about it right now by showing cards on his main Twitter page. And we weren't banned off of YouTube. We weren't ban evading. I was unbanned. I tweeted about this 3 days ago, and I put the link. Well, someone just sent me a little tweet there, and I checked the link. Not even terminated, just it's not appearing now. Okay, so he flagged or got this removed. My Andy Worski channel that was unbanned 6 months ago, got that banned, and the Kino Casino clip channel, even though we were unbanned. Everyone, could you @Team YouTube for us and let them know that this is ridiculous and that we are appealing this, obviously. We're going to be on Kick here. I'm actually a minute late for starting the show. So, yeah, guys, we'll see you all on Kick.
So, Lila, it had the unintended consequences because Jeremy was able to take their channel down, but now it's caused a huge backlash, and then now a mob is going against Jeremy.
Can I just say this? Where was the energy from this mob when people's channels were taken down for speaking against the COVID vaccine and the stolen election? And a lot of the same people who are going after Jeremy now and all these things and talking about free speech were very quiet when, people's channels were taken down when it really, really mattered. So that's what I find interesting about the situation right now.
Well, this is my problem, though, is I actually got no bad blood with Jeremy, but he always was kind of sneak dissing Tim Pool a little bit, I felt like, because he hired a lot of Tim's other employees that had left Tim's show, and then when Tim was swatted, he was sending these $100 super chats, so that always kind of just irked me. It wasn't really something that makes me dislike him that much.
Yeah.
But Jeremy is an expert when it comes to, or excuse me, he's a veteran. I don't know if he's an expert anymore, but he knows how the internet works. He made a ton of money going after Brie Larson. So I think he should have understood what the Kino Casino guys were doing by going after him. And you have to realize that if you're going to go swimming, you're going to get wet. So you decided to be on the internet. People are going to come after you. But when you try to deplatform them, it's impossible for you not to look like the villain. And that's what's happened.
That's true. And I just don't believe anybody should be deplatformed. I believe that I 100% do believe in freedom of speech. But again, I just feel like I don't really know anything that's going on. I just see all this drama coming up on the Twitter feed about it. But I'm like, where was this energy when people were getting banned for COVID and for all these other things?
People have selective outrage.
Yeah, that's where I feel. I'm like, when it really mattered, and to me, that's when it mattered the most. And I mean, I had to leave Los Angeles because of people not willing to speak up, and I had to come to Texas for it. So I don't know. I think it's real. I hate to see anyone get hate thrown on them so viciously on either side of anything.
Yeah, I don't like this for Jeremy. I don't know if this is really, if he deserves all of the backlash that he's getting, but I think if Jeremy does watch this would be, and I'm not a role model. If I followed my own advice, I'd actually be super successful. But Jeremy, you need to take a step back from the internet, not just deactivating your Twitter, which he did deactivate his Twitter, but he needs to get off YouTube and he needs to go lose 50 pounds. You need to focus on the next 30 to 90 days. Get in better shape. You don't have to become a skinny mini. You don't have to be as,
That is amazing advice, though, Alex. Like, if he actually took this time away from the internet and, like, came back and was, like super fit and healthy, that people love a comeback story, too.
They love a comeback story.
People love a comeback story.
I love it.
Come back sober. Come back with 90 days of sobriety, healthy, looking good. People will love that. I do believe everyone deserves a second chance and a comeback. So,
and I don't like
that's great advice.
And I don't like Jeremy getting canceled either. I do think that he's, deserves a little bit of it, but he's been getting a lot. They've been coming after his, wife. Like, it's definitely spiraled out of control. And anybody, even if you're guilty of sin of doing what he's accused of doing, it still hurts your feelings. It's still tough. It's still a very long, hard, uphill battle to fight. So, Jeremy, it looks like it's just starting for you. You got what you wanted for by taking their clip channel down, but it came with a lot of side effects you didn't expect. So you need to take a step back, get in good shape, then come back and prove the haters wrong. But next time somebody has a coordinated attack on you, just ignore it. I mean, there's a saying, I forget which comedian said this, but I was just laughing about it. It's like, cyberbullying's not even real. Just close your eyes. It's like,
put the laptop down.
Put the laptop off.
Yeah. And, I hate to see the ripple effect that it's having on other people that are getting affected.
Like Chrissy, our friend Chrissy got canceled, and I don't think what she did was that bad by not having Brittany Venti on to attack Melanie Mack. I thought that was pretty nice.
I think at the time she really thought she was doing the right thing because she didn't want her friend and our friend Melanie to get ambushed, and at the time that's what she thought was going to happen.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Hindsight is 20/20. You think that I should have done this or done that, but I hate to see real life friendships get destroyed over this, and
we'll see what happens, guys. We're going to keep you posted. It's just the start of the cancellations for everybody, so we'll know if Jeremy takes a step back or if he continues to double down and fight with the trolls. I think it's only going to get worse for you, Jeremy. Okay, Lila, where can people find you before we go, and how can they support you?
You guys can find me at lilaheart.com and support me by coming out to my tour with the Micro Maidens. Go to micromaidens.com. We will be in Las Vegas. Our show is on May 21st, and we're doing 12 cities, so come see me around the country.
Everybody, make sure to go support Lila. Go to micromaidens.com and support the show. Make sure to buy some Soldier Fuel. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And we talk about this all the time. Real America's Voice is not just a TV channel anymore. We are also venturing in the music business by creating a new culture of music that's not meant to brainwash your kids into being homosexuals. And we got a great new song. It is called Bible and a Backbone by the Truth Bombers. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you soon. Well, I can't.
Hey, stand up!
This world changes with every headline, every trend, every opinion, but truth doesn't move. The Truth Bombers are dropping a new anthem for everyone still standing firm. Faith over fear, conviction over compromise. Bible and a Backbone, a bold new release through Real America's Music. Pre-save it now. Scan the QR code or search Bible and a Backbone by the Truth Bombers on iTunes. Stand tall, hold strong. Bible and a Backbone, coming soon.
I don't bend for every breeze. I don't drop down to my knees for opinions that don't stand on.
1 in 4 kids grows up without a father. That's not just a bland statistic. Fatherhood is under attack in America. 1 in 4 kids is growing up without a father. We've replaced fathers with bureaucrats, and the results are a disaster for our kids and our country. I'm John Popola, host of Dad Saves America and CEO of Emergent Order Foundation. I like to say Emergent Order Foundation is what it would look like if Warner Brothers and PBS had a baby that actually loved America. We're a studio on a mission to defend the family and to call men back to the responsibility, strength, and sacrifice that fatherhood demands. The family is the last line of defense against a radical agenda that wants to rewrite everything from truth and tradition to gender and God. We're raising a new generation of men, not victims, not activists, but fathers and protectors. Join the mission, support the movement. Visit dsa-rav.com today to take a stand for fatherhood and the American family.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,100